January 30th, 1945. In the final, chaotic winter of the Second World War, a ship carrying the hopes of thousands began its final voyage. Her name was the MV Wilhelm Gustloff. Once, she was a proud symbol of German engineering, a luxury liner designed for leisure, built to carry vacationers across calm seas. But on this night, she carried something else entirely: fear, desperation, and the final breath of a collapsing empire. As the Soviet Red Army swept through East Prussia, millions fled westward, families with nothing but the clothes on their backs, wounded soldiers barely clinging to life, mothers clutching their children, all praying to escape before the front lines reached them. The Gustloff was their last chance. Over 10,000 souls crowded aboard, far beyond her intended capacity. Cabins designed for 4 held 20. Hallways were filled with makeshift bedding. Even the empty swimming pool was packed with refugees. Every inch of space was taken. Above deck, snow fell in thick, silent sheets. Below deck, fear was a living thing. But the ship was not safe. The Baltic Sea, frozen dark and crawling with Soviet submarines, was a death trap. And that night, lurking beneath the icy black water, one of those submarines waited. Its name was S-13, commanded by Alexander Marinesco, a man with orders and an opportunity. At around 9 p.m., 3 torpedoes were fired, 3 trails of white foam cutting through the darkness. Moments later, impact. The first torpedo struck near the bow, tearing open the forward compartments. The second hit the crew quarters, the third, the engine room. The lights flickered, then died. Panic erupted. People screamed, stumbled through dark corridors as water poured in. Mothers tried to reach their children. Soldiers fought to open jammed doors. Lifeboats frozen to the deck refused to move. And outside, the temperature was nearly minus 18 degrees Celsius. For many, the choice was simple: burn or freeze. Within minutes, the ship began to list heavily to port. Thousands were trapped below deck as icy waters surged through the hull. Those who managed to reach the open air faced blinding snow, chaos, and the deafening roar of a dying ship. Some jumped, others prayed, some simply stood still, paralyzed by fear, waiting for the end. The Wilhelm Gustloff sank beneath the Baltic waves less than an hour after being hit, and with her, she took more than 9,300 lives. Mothers, children, wounded soldiers, entire families erased in an instant. Only around 1,200 survivors were pulled from the freezing sea, many suffering from frostbite, shock, or broken bones. Some were rescued by German naval vessels that happened to be nearby. Most were never found. It became the deadliest maritime disaster in human history, deadlier than the Titanic, Lusitania, and Empress of Ireland combined. Yet, few outside of Germany have ever heard its name. Why? Because history is written by the victors, and in 1945, Germany's own crimes overshadowed its tragedies. The Wilhelm Gustloff was seen not as a symbol of loss, but as part of a war the world wanted to forget. Still, for those who lived through it, the memory never faded. Survivors spoke of the silence afterward, the empty sea, the sound of babies crying, then nothing. The kind of silence that stays with you forever. Some historians call it poetic justice, others call it one of war's cruelest ironies, but to those who drowned that night, justice and irony meant nothing. They were just human beings, desperate to live another day. When you think of shipwrecks, you think of the Titanic, the elegance, the music, the tragedy that captured the world's heart. But the Wilhelm Gustloff? It sank in darkness. No orchestra, no farewell, just the freezing wind and the sound of 1,000 dreams disappearing beneath the ice. For decades, the story remained buried, hidden behind political walls, overshadowed by the vast destruction of the war. Only in recent years have historians begun to tell it, not as propaganda, not as revenge, but as a reminder, because the ocean does not care who you are, soldier, mother, or child. It swallows everything equally. The sinking of the Wilhelm Gustloff isn't just a story about war or ships. It's about people. Ordinary people caught in the machinery of something far greater than themselves. And maybe that's what makes it so haunting. That in the coldest winter of the bloodiest war, when humanity was at its worst, hope still tried to float, but even hope can sink. The Wilhelm Gustloff, a name almost lost to time, but not forgotten, because the sea still remembers.